Okay, first encounter perhaps. Oh, I feel like Cooper right now from Interstellar. Don't let me go. Brains? Huh. Oh boy. Oof. If only there was a solution, eh? Immediately. Good luck, Colt. It's getting tougher and tougher by the day. Yeah, that cutoff always gives it away, right? That someone's about to come in. Yeah, this is it. 1,000 normal ones. Game changer, right? Energy. If Puckle's 1,000, imagine the next step up. Right. Oh. That's right. That's right. She doesn't like that. Okay, Pike, back down, back down. Look at this pan shot. Striking. Oh. Whoa. Big man. Bihorn-sama. Oh. Oh, he's not gonna like this. Strict. By the books. Oh god, is he enjoying it? Oh. Togashi. I mean, you've got one. Check him out. Arrows of light, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Much more than a days, yeah. Yeah, but it's not easy to come by, is it? Or they're not easy to come by. Yeah. Loose cannon. Oh. I mean, that's a lot of meat. 4 or 5 horses? There's something juicier out there, eh? Oh. I should be feasting on humans, eh? Oh boy. This could be interesting. Ooh, just these two by themselves? There could be a bit of an altercation here. This could be it. Ramo maybe making a move. Oh, he felt that. He felt maybe their presence. Whose presence, though? But it's interesting that he has that, or they have that built in as well. Could it be? Indeed, it might just be. It is, the rare ones. And they have quite the presence. Look at this. Ugh. Oh, God. Oh. It is Ramon then, the first one. It's beautifully drawn. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit dark, but beautiful nonetheless. Whoa. Okay, Ramon. Jeez.
まるで早煮えだ。
モズって鳥の習性だ。
Whoa.
捕らえた餌を木などに刺しておくんだ。
Okay.
おい。
Oh. Oh shit. It's such a cool design, isn't it? This is it, boys.
完全に気配を消せるか。
Wow, yeah? He did just sneak up on them. Whoa. Okay, Colt. Arms crossed. Maybe I'll chill here for a second and see how this plays out. That'd be smart. That'd be smart of him. This is it. Who goes first? Does Kai step up? Set the example? Ooh.
ゴミども。
Ugh.
それは俺のだ。
Wow, wow. Ooh. Oh, he got you good, boys. Let's go, let's go. Get ready. You might have picked the wrong fight, Ramo. Yeah, Colt's not going to come in. It's a really good chance for him to see this. Oh, he's gonna let them fight. Show me.
ヒルは
Yep, yep.
あいつお前たちだけで何とかしろ。
He's gauged Ramo's strength or his level, right? And now he's decided, okay, I think these two can take him on.
あれはキメラアントの兵隊だ。これから先はあんな奴らが
Show me if you can handle him.
戦闘中はいちいちお前たちを助けてられん。あいつを倒せないようなら帰る。邪魔だからな。
Trial by fire.
言っただろ、カイト。俺たちだってプロだ。
Yeah. 2 on 1, yeah. They'll take him out.
ガキ扱いするな。
You know, I kind of made that mistake in the last episode's discussion.
強くなった感じがするぞ。
Yeah, it's because of, yeah. Okay, Rambo. Oh. Oof. Thunderbolt. Simple enough. And effective. Fried rabbit. This is some combo. Oh, he's done. He's finished. Cold seen enough. Remember this, Ramon. Remember this. Colt came in for you. Wow. Whoa. God damn, he feels so unhinged at times. He's got that in him. That hatred.
聞いてない。
Yeah. That gives us a bit of information as well.
部下に戦わせ、こっちの手の内を探った。来るか。そんなに落ち込むほど悪くなかったぞ。今の攻撃。あとはどれくらい場数を踏むかだ。一人前になりたいなら、ここは格好の
Yeah, yet another playground,
ま
but
ともな神経じゃ一歩も耐えられん。進む先。勝っても負けても地獄だぞ。
yeah. Kite has a complete understanding for this. I bet deep inside he's like, there's a good chance, 50-50 that they could die out here. See, yet another kind of like a checkpoint. Once again, you know, do you want to opt in or out? But he was attacked by Nen. Nen attacks. Oh.
やるだけじゃ収まんねえ。血肉をスタスタに噛み散らして胃に収めてやる。奴らの辛いことにクソなすりつけて
My God. Holy shit.
それでも怒りが収まるかわからねえんだ。黙々とクソ真面目に息を運ぶだけの体なんざ他にねえんだよ。
Man, this character so striking.
なんなら別の体に移ってでも奴らなぶるぜ。ほらよ。痛えよ。クソだ。
Hold on. Still, he got attacked by Nen.
面白いからに決まってんだろう。人間は
Look at this.
わかるのがいいよな。死ぬ瞬間に何考えてるかが分かってよ。
恐怖に歪む顔がいいですね。俺のタイム、ハギャのタイム、ノルマはちゃんと守ってるぜ。余った時間を使って狩りを楽しんでいるだけだ。
Work hard, play hard, eh?
もしあったら、
Oh
殺
God.
さずに捕らえて引き渡してもらいたい。
He's testing it. He's testing it. Go on.
分かったよ。
I like Chiru as well.
まあまあ
Yeah.
かよ。
Yeah.
一人ずつ話をしてみて、傾向と対策を立て
Okay,
よう。
Colt.
女王様には
She doesn't need to
栄
know.
養を与え
Yeah.
る大切な時期だ。心配はかけられん。
Oof. Yeah.
これが NGL の裏の顔
AKs?
だね。
まあな。
Oh boy. Oh boy.
キメラ
Yeah.
アントに制約された
and his squad
麻薬工場の静けさがさらに不気味さを醸し出す。そこでゴンたちを待ち受けているのは
Quite the test. Quite the test. Okay, that sets it up nicely, doesn't it? Gon, Killua, and Kite coming across that base. I almost said abandoned base, but yeah, it's been taken over, right? It's still a base, but it's a base for someone else now, Yunju and his sidekicks, right? And as a total, there's 3 of them, and there's 3 of Gon, Killua, and Kite. I believe I touched up on this possibility in the last episode's discussion, and indeed, it looks like it is about to be a 3-on-3, right? You know, of course, in this episode, I saw a bit of a 2-on-1, and you know, it's a bit of a surprising outcome. Again, you know, much more on that later, and the connotations of it, right? And just how it kind of gave me a reality check. It really did. You know, I just kind of expected, okay, maybe if it's just Gon taking on Ramot, or maybe if it's just Killua taking on Ramot, then, you know, I wasn't actually completely sure if you know, 1-on-1 they could actually take out Ramot, but you know, 2-on-1 Gon and Killua combined, and actually, you know, really quite effectively functioning as a duo. You know, I've seen it on a few occasions now. You know, it's kind of similar to Bisky's approach. You know, Gon and Killua and Benolt, right? Something similar. And it gave Bisky a chance to really kind of gauge their levels, the things that they are capable of, and, you know, something similar happened here. Kite, after, you know, initially kind of sizing up Ramot, easily just kind of evades him and decides, okay, you know, it's a good chance to test out the boys, to get a good look at them. And, you know, he's impressed. There's a few moments, a few times it kind of cuts to Kite, you know, especially after Killua's Thunderbolt strike from above, of course. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you know, he had a solid reaction to that. And even after Ramot is on the move, and of course, you know, it's because Colt comes in and kind of rescues him. And listen, the thing is, at the end of the day, they might have actually gotten it done. They might have actually, you know, knocked him out if Colton, you know, sweep in and save him. So they shouldn't be too down on themselves. And the thing is, they almost immediately kind of snap back into it, right? Get back on the horse, if you will. And, you know, they're up for the challenge. That's one of their qualities, isn't it? Yes, it's a bit of a setback. Yes, it's a bit of a reality check. It is. It's a bit of a terrifying reality check in that sense, given, that this is Ramot, right? Who is still one of the more formidable Chimera ants around. He's not a foot soldier either, right? Those are just the base level Gen 1 ants. But he's still not the strongest, is he? Out of all of the Chimera ants I've seen. To me, it naturally just kind of feels like he might be mid-level. Or maybe not. I don't know for sure. But again, the terrifying prospect of this is that they kind of struggled at first, right? And Ramon, he took a lot of their best shots. Now, it remains to be seen if they're going all out, if they're actually trying to kill this thing. I'm not sure they are, but they're certainly giving it a good go. You can see it's one of their better strikes, both of those strikes. I've seen the effect it had on Gentharu, the bomber, right? And Gon really put a lot into it. But again, it still wasn't enough to kill Gentharu. But it also makes you think, doesn't it? If need be, could Gon and Killua cross that, right? Could they cross that line and then actually execute a strike that is to kill, right? Let's see. The thing is, there might be a need for it. There might be a need for it. Hell, there's a really fitting line of dialogue here. And that's really quite applicable to the things I've seen in this arc already, in the short amount of time, right? 5-6 episodes. Hell lies ahead of us, right? Into the heart of darkness, into the belly of the beast, all of that. Kite has not sugarcoated it one bit. Like I said, it also served as another checkpoint, right? Another, again, reality check. Are you still up for it, boys? Are you going to continue? Are you going to join me? And the thing is, at this point, especially after the Ramot encounter, Kite certainly has enough on them. He's certainly seen enough of Gon and Killua to essentially claim and feel that, okay, this is fine, this is good. They can handle themselves, and they're not going to slow me down. They're not going to be a I'm kind of drawing a blank on the term. It's just a simple term, a liability, right? It gave them that. That sequence itself, the fight sequence. First of all, the actual encounter, the back and forth. It's really quite engaging. It's really fun, and the music. The score accompanying that scene is really quite engaging as well. It almost kind of fit the actual execution of the moves and the strikes that are taking place. And I like that it was a really quick one as well, right? On the opposite end of that, you've got Colt, who's high up in the trees. And, almost immediately, the moment I saw his arms crossed and, again, the framing of that shot just to the right, but his arms being crossed immediately just tells you that, okay, he's a little bit he's relaxed about the situation now, and now he's going to take it in, right? There's been this talk about all of these rare humans, and now he came across them, and of course he had quite the reaction to gauging or to clocking their presence. And at this point, both of the leaders essentially on both ends, Kite and his crew, and then you've got Colt and everything that's a part of the Chimera ants. They both have, a semblance of an understanding at this point. They've seen how the other side operates and the things that they are capable of. Colt has seen at this point that, okay, maybe he didn't get a look at Kite, right? But he can still sense his presence. He can sense that, okay, this is someone that's quite experienced. He is someone that they should be a little bit, afraid of, or at least concerned about, right? Don't be reckless going in on this person, right? The thing is, Kite just has that swagger about him. He has that aura about him, that presence, right? And I'm not even speaking of the Nen aura, just aura in general, right? There's that one moment as it almost appears to be Kite's first outing, perhaps, and you see that Ramon understands almost immediately as well, right? His instincts kick in. He can also sense his presence. He can just tell, okay, this is bad news. I've got to be careful around this guy. Right. And, again, that kind of goes back to this, notion of, the built-in Zetsu, right? That it's instinct in a lot of these animals, right? There's that whole thing about Gon having that, really early on, right? And he uses it against Hisoka really quite effectively, and Hisoka's impressed. And I think Hisoka actually even comments on it, right? That, you know, Gon's Zetsu is kind of executed in the same manner as an animal, as a wild animal, right? So yeah, you know, that's inherent to a lot of animals already. So it makes sense that, you know, Ramo snuck up on them. Now, the thing is, you know, I said, did he even mean to do it? You know, he might have just, you know, walked up on them because he sensed them, or he saw that, oh, someone's walking up on my prey, I suppose. The ones he mounted on those trees, the horses. I mean, that shot is out of like a horror film, isn't it? And I suppose in that sense, you kind of get to see a bit more of the influence of this arc. You know, I feel like I've seen a lot of influence since day one. You know, I remember the first episode, the first time I got to see the Chimera Ant Queen, you know, I remember, you know, mentioning things like Alien, and, you know, the Xenomorph, and just the tone of it. Immediate. There's an immediate shift in the tone, and you see it. I mean, the shot itself. I mean, this is memorable and striking imagery. And up until this point, this arc has been full of it, just full of it. And I feel like that is by design, right? You see the aftermath of Ramo kind of running through that village. Maybe, you know, maybe not all of it is just Ramo. You know, at first it might have been the aftermath of, you know, some of the ants taking the humans, but, you know, the stables, the shots of the smeared blood, the horse blood that's kind of left behind, that's left a trail. I thought there's a haunting beauty about it, right? Because it's drawn so beautifully from a production standpoint. It's really quite impressive. And, you know, one of the things that I've really enjoyed in this arc is the backgrounds. You know, I'm quite the background enjoyer in anime, and the backgrounds in this arc have been just beautiful, beautiful stuff. You know, be it these shots of the Chimera Ant castle that's always under construction, you know, constantly being improved. And, you know, I love the different angles. That's kind of reminiscent of those, you know, those shots of Heaven's Arena, the actual, you know, building itself, you know, getting low angle shots from above, you know, shots that are framed right in the middle of the frame. And, you know, shots at different points of the day, some of those shots at dusk, some of those shots at night, you know, at night around the time everything just kind of lights up. So yeah, you know, I really enjoy these constants in some of these arcs, right? These monolithic structures, right? Be it the Heaven's Arena arc, and now you've got perhaps one of the most iconic of the series so far, the Ant Castle, the Chimera Ant Castle, the Queen's Castle, up until this point, I suppose, right? Because the king is on the horizon. He's imminent, but, you know, maybe not as imminent as the king's guards. Now, you know, to go back to a point that I made a little bit earlier, right? The frightening possibilities of this, the connotations of this, right? Ramo's, you know, raw aggression and strength, being quite the match for Gon and Killua. And listen, Gon and Killua are not amateurs. These are really tried and tested individuals and nen users at this point, right? These are bad motherfuckers, you know, these little dudes, Gon and Killua. And that's the reason, you know, right before they go up against Ramo, you know, again, 2-on-1, I thought, okay, two of them together, they should be able to handle this Chimera Ant. But yeah, you know, again, I also got a reality check. You know, so now I simply cannot stop thinking about the King's guards. And once they arrive on the scene, you know, this encounter, this fight that just took place, Gon and Killua against Ramo, it gives you a really solid indication of the power scaling, doesn't it? You know, honestly, at this point, I do not think Gon and Killua can take on the King's guards once they show up, right? I just don't see how that's possible. I think 1-on-1 is I don't know, that feels like I could see a death. You know, if Gon is to go up against one of these King's guards, right? I don't know. And the same thing kind of applies to Killua. But even 2-on-1, I'm not sure at this point anymore, man. I'm not. And then there's yet another level above that, right? The king, once the king arrives, he's going to be on a different planet, completely different planet as far as the power scaling goes, right? That is, I simply do not want to see Gon and Killua, you know, in a situation of having to go up against the king. I honestly, even before getting to see this king and the way it's being set up, And again, the information I got out of this this encounter with Ramo, no, I do not want to see Gon and Killua anywhere close to the king once he does show up. But also, it does reiterate that, okay, it is going to require some of these big dogs, right? In the last episode's discussion, once again, I was kind of talking about the outsiders that might have to come in, right? The team that has to be assembled and sent in. Yeah, you're going to need some of the best that are a part of this anime, of this cast, right? And, some of the names I was kind of, throwing out there are, people like Zeno and Silva, or any of the other Zoldycks even, but, Zeno and Silva being, again, the head honchos, the top dogs of the Zoldyck clan. There's got to be people from the Hunter Association. There's got to be, unknowns that I don't know yet. These are the types of people you think of that, that you might need. I also kind of flirted with the idea of, Phantom Troop members, right? Some of them could be quite useful. And of course, it would have to be a really unique situation, right? And it is a unique situation, the Chimera ants and this imminent threat to the planet. And even in this episode, you see that the queen requires so much. It's just never enough, is it? This is simply the requirement, the conditions that have to be met for this incoming king, right? It's been up to 100 humans per day. And, it's like a bottomless pit. This queen, she can just put them away. And, it's a really interesting depiction of the flesh or the meat of the humans. At first, I thought it's just, I don't know, human brains, but it looks more like this minced, I don't know, meatball of human, right? Made out of human flesh. But you also see skulls just around that area, that big stack of human flesh. Again, that kind of looks like big, massive meatballs and kind of like brains as well. So yeah, the queen has quite the appetite. And the thing is, that's also been handed down to all of these Chimera ants, right? A lot of them have quite the appetite, right? That they simply just need to satiate. And sometimes it's not even just about the appetite. It's just about satiating that thirst for the hunt, right? That urge that's just within him. It's built in. But also there is something interesting here as well. Not all of them have that, right? You look at people like Peggy, you look at people like Colt, and some of the others as well. Not all of them have that urge, right? Not all of them have that I don't know, attraction to human flesh and hunting down humans. I mean, some of them crave it quite a bit, but the others not at all. But the thing to remember here is that, these are still Chimera ants. These are other creatures. These are really unique and almost alien-esque creatures that at the base level, at the foundational level, are, their own thing. There's certain things that are built in that they just simply excel at, right? So, that raw aggression, that raw strength that I see on display from Ramo, that's simply because of his Chimera ant, build or DNA. These are, again, formidable creatures, dangerous creatures. And, that's right in the beginning of the arc as well. And that's just even the small ants, the tiny ones that Kite is speaking of, right? But these are just these mutated, again, alien-esque figures at this point. So yeah, even before Nen can be a part of the equation, these are really, really dangerous and, formidable creatures to begin with anyways. But yeah, it's a reminder that, okay, these are still incredible creatures, right? Even before, any potential Nen comes in. And Nen is about to come in. Over the past few episodes, you see that it's been flirting with that idea quite a bit. And now, it's really, truly about to come in. And I say that because even though, Ramo caught quite the beatdown, right? Even though he's in quite a bit of pain, these two, Gon and Killua, might have just done something for Ramo that he might appreciate in a few days' time, perhaps. Again, the timeline might be a little bit strange again, given that these are strange creatures. But they set up all that time ago in Heaven's Arena. Gon and Killua, short on time, need a bit of a different approach, something a bit more aggressive, right? Master Wing told them, okay, I'm going to have to take this approach, right? Usually you don't really take this approach, but again, given the time constraints, he felt that, okay, I'll do this. I'll do this for them. And also he gauged their strength and their levels, and he felt that, okay, maybe they'll be able to handle it, right? Because he also made it clear that, if done under, malicious intent, it could have some damaging outcomes, right? Permanent damage even. And it is showcased in those bullies, right? The disabled Heaven's Arena fighters. So yeah, there's a strong possibility that Gon and Killua might have just done that for Ramon as well, right? He was able to take the punishment, right? Yes, he's going through a bit of a phase right now, and Colt did say, if he gets through the night, he should be fine. And of course, his anger and his strength, his base strength, is kind of helping him out here. And speaking of anger, listen, before I go any further, this is one of the performances of this arc and this anime so far. And I'm speaking of Ramon's voice actor. Wow. It's just so, I don't know, it's just so raw and engaging, isn't it? He lets out that scream, all of that rage as Colt's, taking him off or flying him out of there. That is a scene, folks. That's the type of scene that just locks you in. I felt it. I felt that rage and anger, that hatred, just, I don't know, booming out of him. Gon and Killua had to cover up, right? It was an aggression of that scale that's coming off of Ramon. My God, the voice acting is phenomenal. It's brilliant. Some of the scenes of Ramon, especially inside, once they get him back to the castle, once Colt gets him back to the castle, and he is in pain, right? And at that point, he's going on about how he wants to dismantle these humans, right? The things he's going to do to them. And my God, he's descriptive, right? The things he wants to do to them are, it's I don't know, it's crazy the amount of hatred that he has for these humans. And, this idea of humans being trash is an idea that's prominently featured in this episode. The new Chimera ant that I get to see in this one, the lion Chimera ant. And isn't that crazy that, they took down a lion, they ate a lion, or sorry, the queen ate a lion, but someone had to take the lion down for the queen to eat, right? I think he says something like, oh, I'm just taking out the trash, right? Simple as that. And then you've got the koala from a few episodes ago, talking about how these people don't know their place. It's interesting. It really is how they look at humans, right? And, this point I made about, them having this craving for human flesh, it's also interesting given the fact that, they are part human. All these Chimera ants, the ones that speak and all of that, and are a part of the Chimera ants, hierarchy politics and all of that. That's, again, one of the major focuses of this episode. They are human, part human. A lot of them is human, actually. But yeah, going back to Ramon and that performance, listen, some of these scenes are the types of scenes you show before, I don't know, an award show, right? For like voice acting or something. That, you can easily just pull out a few of these scenes, him being carried out by Colt and having to go at Gon and Killua. Just completely unhinged, just absolutely nailing that raw aggression, right? And then, of course, you have to also give a lot of credit to the way it's drawn, right? And the way it's animated. Ramon specifically, the facial expressions, the detail in those expressions, and then, of course, the design itself. Ramon's Chimera ant design is one of the more unique ones. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. Some feel a little bit goofy, but then there's some that are really, really quite unique, and striking. Be it Zazan, be it Ramon. Colt's design is really quite striking as well. Oh, also one of the members of the new Lion Chimera Ants squad looks really quite human. The girl on the right side, I mean, she legitimately looked like a human, right? But yeah, to finish up on Ramon, Gon and Killua might have just done him a favor, right? Unknowingly. Because there's a strong possibility they might have just unlocked his Nen potential, right? And then, of course, there's major connotations to that as well, if that does end up happening, because then they can easily surmise that, okay, there's a reason this happened to Ramon, and they'll figure it out. It's because of the punishment he took from, or those specific attacks he took from Gon and Killua, But the thing is, Pokel also gave Pike quite a beating. But the thing is, Pike just caught those arrows. And then he does end up landing quite a few punches. But again, those punches from Pokel and, Gon and Killua's Nen attacks, it's, again, night and day. And also, there's a bit of an introduction to some of the other, animal genes that are part of Ramote's buildup. And I suppose that certainly explains the feathers as well. They mentioned the bird by name, but I cannot remember the name specifically. But the bird itself impales its prey on spikes or on trees or branches, something sharp enough to impale them for consumption or use at a later time, right? But to see it at this scale, horses being impaled on massive trees, yeah, it's a jarring sight. It's a really striking sight, isn't it? So a few moments ago, I brought up the politics of the Chimera ants and that hierarchy, right? And that structure. The thing is, it actually feels like a full-on plot, right? There's at this point, it's made really quite clear to Colt through Ramote, right? Ramote he's just letting it all out at this point. He lets him know that behind his back, all kinds of things are going on. It's almost as if. It's almost as if, yeah, let's keep Colt in the dark. It's they don't really truly respect him, perhaps, but they do their own thing, and they're like, yeah, let him just let him think that, okay, yeah, they're doing everything he's saying, but they all kind of understand that maybe from their perspective, Colt's a bit of a stick in the mud, right? So they just kind of leave him be. Keep him in the dark about a lot of these things, but now Ramote's kind of put it out there, that there is widespread disobedience and dissent among the ranks. Though, the thing is, he knew about that. Him and Peggy discussed that quite a bit over the span of the past few episodes. But now, he truly knows that they're going after, the queen's nutrition, I suppose, right? And, in a lot of cases, it's for sport, it's for amusement, and they just leave the bodies out there anyways. They don't even care about bringing back dead bodies. And yeah, now that the idea of rare humans is out there, you see that the new lion Chimera ant is all about hunting one of those down for himself. But yeah, that brings me back to the ending. And yeah, that investigative side that I really enjoy is certainly at play, right? It is, Gon and Killua and Kite going through, the forest, coming across those bodies of, some of those soldiers, the late Gyro, I suppose. Yeah, they end up coming across that base. And now, they're going to investigate. And like I said a little bit earlier, there's about to be a 3-on-3. So, the thing is, I feel like it might be a step up, maybe the next step up from Ramote, right? Because now it might actually be each one going up against just one Chimera ant. So that should be interesting, And I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's most likely about to be Kite against Yunju, right? Those are like the leaders of their groups at this point. So that makes a lot of sense to me. And then, the other two might be a bit more Gon and Killua's level. But even so, I think it's still going to be tough for Gon and Killua. It is. Those two might be on a similar level to Ramote. But yeah, I'm really quite excited to potentially see Kite do his thing, right? Show me that. And they're actually building up to that as well. Right? It's not like an immediate, okay, here's Kite. But yeah, I think that should do it for this one, folks. If you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you are interested in early access or, timer-based full length or full opacity, consider checking out the Patreon page and potentially supporting the channel. The links are in the description and the pinned comment, also links to social media, if that's your thing. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. And I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.